So now we're going to talk about bathing and blow drying the dog. And I hope you'll excuse me, my voice is a little raspy today. I have no idea why, but that's just the way it is. So this will be the raspy voice section. I'm going to kind of gloss over the whole bathing thing because my bathtub is really not very photogenic. So, you know, you don't want to see my dog in my ugly old bathtub. And it's not that hard to bathe the dog. It's pretty straightforward. But we are going to talk a lot more about blow drying the dog. And to do that, I've come out here in our backyard for a very specific reason. Our house is set up in a really neat way. The backyard, it's south facing. So here we are in the middle of October. We're enjoying just a beautiful Indian summer. And it's absolutely fantastic out here in the backyard. And because of the south-facing nature of the backyard and the way we have this whole thing set up, we're totally wind blocked back here in this part of the yard. And so it's probably a good 10 to 15 degrees warmer out here than it is in our front yard. And this makes this a perfect spot for blow drying the dog. Because in addition to, you know, all the help that you're going to get from the blow dryer, we want a little help from the sun too. So doing it out here where it's nice and warm and sunny is going to make things a little easier and quicker. Now, of course, you know, if you live in upstate New York and you're bathing and blow drying your dog in the middle of January or February, you're not going to take it outside, obviously. But when the weather permits, this is the best thing to do, is move the grooming table outside and do the whole thing outside in the sun on a nice warm day. So we're going to just start by using a towel. And I've got Morgan here. She's fresh out of the bath. She is literally dripping wet. And we'll use the towel on her, especially on the legs, because that's where all the water really congregates, and just get as much of that off with a towel as we can. And then once we've done as much as we can with the towel, then we are going to switch to the blow dryer. Now, for 95% of you watching this DVD right now, you are going to want to use your normal blow dryer right out of your bathroom, the same blow dryer that you use on your own hair. And for 5% of you watching right now, you're going to want to use a fancier blow dryer, which we'll talk about later. But for now, I'm going to deal with the 95% of you that are just going to use this blow dryer from your bathroom. For most people, it's all you're ever going to need. For many, many years, it's all I ever used. And you'll do just fine with this kind of blow dryer. Just one thing to keep in mind. You know, these things usually have a hot and a warm and a cool setting. When you're blow drying your own hair and you're dealing with your own skin, you can tell if it's too hot or if you're too close. You can feel that on your skin. But when you're blow drying a dog, you can't tell if you've gotten too hot with the blow dryer or too close. So you're generally not going to want to use it on a hot position on a dog, except for maybe for the first few minutes when the dog is really, really dripping wet. But most of the time you're going to want to use it in the warm position to eliminate any chance of burning or hurting the dog's skin. Okay, now I'm not going to show you much about using a blow dryer because it's pretty straightforward. The one thing that I will mention is that you're going to want to make the air blow, and you're going to want to do your strokes with your brush in the direction that you want the hair to lay. So like with all this hair on the side of Morgan, we want it to lay down as flat as possible and take out as much of this curl as possible. So we're always going to blow the blow dryer in the down direction, and we're going to brush in the down direction when we blow her. Okay, you don't want to blow up and fluff it up like that, because then you're going to end up with a big fluffy dog with all this hair that sticks out and makes her look really, really fat. So blow down and brush down. And that's really all you need to know. The rest is pretty straightforward about using this blow dryer. Now I'm going to tell you about a different kind of blow dryer that 95% of you are never going to use. And this next part is for the 5% of you that have $300 or $400 extra to blow in your bank account on making your life just a little bit easier and making this whole process of blow drying the dog a little faster and a little more straightforward. So what I'm talking about is a stand dryer. This is what's called a Metro Top Gun stand dryer, and that's basically a big blow dryer that is mounted on a stand on rollers so that it's very easy to move around. And a stand dryer is super convenient for blow drying dogs. You can adjust the height, and it's on rollers so you can easily move it around. And because of the way this nozzle right here is, you can direct the flow of the air in the downward direction very, very easy. So I can stand Morgan up like this, or I could also use my noose arm to hold her up like that. And then I can just point the stand dryer and turn it on and have it blow air down that way. And that frees up one of my hands. Because if you're using a regular hand blow dryer, you've got one hand tied up with the blow dryer, one hand tied up with your brush, and really no hands to deal with the dog as far as keeping him standing up or whatever you want to do. So this frees up one hand, so now I can brush with one hand, I can kind of hold Morgan or turn her around as needed with the other hand, and it makes life a little easier. The other thing is that this thing is super powerful. I'm going to turn this on for just a second. You're not going to hear a darn thing if I try and talk with this thing on. It is extremely powerful and very, very loud. That thing really blows. It's got a 4 horsepower engine in it, and it just sends a tremendous amount of air down there. But what's interesting about this is that it's barely heated. There is a heater in there, and your tendency when you first get one of these and plug it in and turn it on is to think that the heater's broken, because the air that's coming out of here is not very warm at all. It's maybe, I don't know, 90 degrees, maybe 100 degrees tops. The point is not to have a lot of hot air come out of here, but it's a huge velocity of air that actually blows the water right out of the dog's coat. Now, this by itself right here, the Top Gun stand dryer and the stand is about $300. But in addition to that, they have what's called an accessory kit, and the best thing in the kit is this hose that attaches on here. And sorry, I had to use a little duct tape around the edge here because mine broke after I used it a few times. But anyway, it slides on there, and now you've got, similar to a canister dryer, where you can point air to very easily to certain parts of the body. And this makes blow drying the legs super, super easy. There are also some other attachments that come in the attachment kit. The attachment kit is like, I don't know, it's 50 or maybe $100 tops. And there's several other attachments that come with it. But this is the one I like to use the most. And it just makes it really easy to blow dry the legs. And one thing you got to be careful about when you use a stand dryer, these things are really, really noisy. So you want to keep them away from the ear as much as possible. If you were to point that right in the dog's ear, I'm sure you could deafen the dog in a pretty short time. So when you're blowing the ear with a stand dryer, you got to be kind of careful. Don't ever open the ear up like this so that there's a straight shot into the ear canal. If you're going to blow the ear, you're going to blow it with the ear down, so you're covering the ear canal, and keep this a little further away than you might on other parts of the body. And you'll see when you get these things close to the dog's ear, the dog will physically back away because it is so loud, and they just don't like it being that close. Neither would you. Anyway, that's all I'm going to really show you. I'm not going to go through a full, demo, because it'd probably take me a half hour to really fully blow dry her with this. But I wanted to give you, a short introduction to what a stand dryer would do for you. And most people will never ever need to own one of these, and never will have the $300 or $400 to blow to get one. But if you do, it will make your life a little easier.